This is the first of 100 wells we're gonna build in this video. Oh, water!
One of the most well-known YouTube content creators, MrBeast, has gained a great deal of notoriety due to the extravagant deeds of kindness he portrays in his films. The building of wells in Africa and the funding of cataract surgery are only two examples of the many ways his writing emphasizes kindness and helping others. Opponents, however, contend that his videos usually prioritize clout and sensationalism over real, enduring impact, casting doubt on their viability from an ethical and pragmatic perspective. But before starting this video again, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our fantastic content. Now let's start it again. In the video titled, "I Built 100 Wells in Africa," which MrBeast made and narrated, he talks about how he collaborated with different organizations to construct wells in areas that lack water, including Kenya, Uganda, Somalia, Cameroon, and Zimbabwe. The video repeatedly underlined the importance of the immediate and dramatic impact, and the movie showed underprivileged groups having access to safe drinking water. Critics drew attention to the discrepancies in the presentation nevertheless. One instance is when wells that were labeled as independent turned out to be identical upon closer inspection, despite claims that the film had been recycled. In addition, the movie featured discrepancies, such as showcasing footage from Zimbabwe while simultaneously claiming that Kenya was concerned. The absence of images for specific wells, like Well 68, fueled suspicions and raised the possibility that there were transparency gaps. Concerns were also expressed over the lack of local organizations and people who had been tackling these problems for a long time. Local leaders and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, have been working on water access for years, according to critics, but they haven't gotten any credit or support for their work. The initiative was portrayed by MrBeast as an extraordinary endeavor. Because their efforts were not recognized, it appeared as though his project was a one-off initiative. This resulted from the failure to recognize their achievements. As a result, questions were raised about these wells' long-term sustainability, since clean water infrastructure often requires ongoing maintenance and community involvement to remain functional over time. In a second, highly popular movie, 1,000 Blind People See for the First Time, MrBeast covered the cost of cataract surgeries for people worldwide. Some others thought the video's framing was inappropriate, despite the fact that the procedures were clearly helpful to individuals who got them. The article's headline and tone suggested that he had cured blindness, even though cataract surgeries are typically regarded as routine medical procedures and the patients had already been recognized by clinics and shelters. Another issue raised by critics was the video's overemphasis on capturing emotional reactions. According to their claims, the film reduced the people to nothing more than props in a narrative intended to entice viewers to watch it. Many people questioned why such actions had to be widely publicized rather than being carried out covertly, even though his altruism was praised. They contend that by depicting their relief as a kind of amusement, the video reduced other people's suffering to a commodity. After receiving criticism for his humanitarian films, MrBeast responded with a tweet in which he justified his intentions, said he plans to donate his whole fortune in his lifetime, and said he uses his position to inspire others to help others. This did little to reassure those who thought the content was more charity porn, since the term charity porn describes the practice of taking advantage of the misery of weaker people in order to benefit oneself or one's career. Others have questioned the ethical balance between exploitation and charity, even though helping others is laudable. This is especially true when financial incentives like sponsorships and advertising money are involved. The goal of one such notable initiative, Team Seas, was to clear the oceans of 30 million pounds of trash plastic. The Ocean Cleanup and Ocean Conservancy were among the organizations that received cash for this campaign. Despite raising $33 million, the initiative was criticized for being a superficial answer. The removal of 30 million pounds, or roughly 13,600 tons of plastic, was seen as more of a symbolic gesture than a real solution when compared to the estimated 150 million tons of plastic that are currently in the oceans and the millions of tons that are added annually. According to experts, initiatives like these might overshadow the more pressing need to address the root causes of plastic pollution, like reducing waste production and holding companies responsible for their deeds. Along with the skepticism, the Ocean Cleanup, one of the campaign's partners, also faced criticism for the strategies it used and its partnership with Coca-Cola, a major contributor to the global buildup of plastic waste. The existence of such a controversial sponsor raised the issue of greenwashing, which is the practice of using environmental efforts to deflect attention from actions that harm the environment. The program Team Trees, which sought to plant 20 million trees, followed a similar trend. The endeavor raised questions about its long-term sustainability, even if it made claims to rehabilitate the ecosystem. Tree planting is just the beginning. Ongoing care and monitoring are necessary for the trees to thrive and become a part of the ecosystem. If such campaigns are not followed through on, they may end up being token gestures rather than answers to the issues of climate change and deforestation. Moreover, detractors noted that these programs can lead to self-licensing, in which people believe they are exempt from responsibility for their environmental damage simply because they make financial contributions rather than adopting meaningful lifestyle changes. MrBeast has faced criticism for purposefully fusing self-promotion with deeds of kindness ever since he started making humanitarian movies. For instance, he asked a homeless person to allow him to film their living situation in order to give context for comprehending the issue in a movie where he gave them $1,000. Critics noted that although the recipient conveyed gratitude, the transaction was not in the spirit of pure generosity, but rather one that was advantageous to both parties, content in exchange for financial support. The charity's transactional nature highlights the continuous debate about whether or not its widely reported nature undermines its credibility. Unquestionably, MrBeast's efforts bring important issues to light and help a lot of people right away. But it's also true that these initiatives call for a closer look at the organization's goals, strategies, and sustainability. The delicate balancing act that must be done between leveraging one's position for the greater good and upholding ethical obligation is the most significant element of the conversation that surrounds his work. However, detractors contend that, despite their grandiose presentation, one-off acts are not necessary to effect real change. Rather, deeper structural measures are needed. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more interesting and informative videos.